hope we are fine, and I hope we had a splendid week. Well, it's been a busy week so far, but thank God for His help. We are grateful for life. Thank you very much for joining the class again today. I hope we learned something useful, something, that will look back to and say, ah, thank God I attended that Saturday class. Yeah, we've been writing task 1 for like 3, 4, about our last 4 classes so far. And then we have finished as at last class. As at the last class we had finished with the writing task 1. So we did say we're going to be doing something different today. And today we're going to be working on speaking and reading. Some people have asked what is expected of them in the speaking test, in the listening test, what are they supposed to do? Like I say, your band descriptor still applies in this speaking test as well. The only thing is that in your speaking test, for your band descriptors, you are going to be making use of the vocabularies. You are going to be making use of your lexical resource. You may not be writing, but you are speaking. So they want to see you, they want to hear you, put everything you have been learning into action. Okay. They want to know how much of what you say you know, you have been able to put, into practice. So yeah. Hopefully, we will be able to do something that will be useful to you today. Let's see. That's this. This way. I think so. Recently, I've exposed my eyes to blue light and it's really beginning to ache. So, yeah. Yes, Uchenna, welcome to the class. I'm Fina. We are not going to waste so much time. We will start immediately. Sending in a chat. Let's see, we've got some chats here. Can't read them. Why? Okay, Uchenna is greeting everybody. Good day, all. All right. So today we will start with our speaking test. We're starting with the speaking test. IELTS speaking. The IELTS speaking test is where you are going to be tested physically. You have somebody sitting by your side as you run your test. Unlike the reading, the writing, and the listening where you are on your own. The speaking test is done face-to-face with your examiner, and there are different sections in this type of test. There are different sections that you will find. Just the same way we have different sets of the other ones. Now, everything finishes at most 14-15 minutes. That's all you have for your speaking test. There are various sessions, and there are 3 of them. First one is your introduction. The introduction where you have you talking with your examiner, asking you questions about your name, you know. She'll tell you who day I'm your examiner and all of that. And you too, they'll verify your identity. They'll verify your identity. So yeah. At that stage, there's a particular time, there are particular things that the examiner is looking out for from you. There are particular information that he or she is expecting you to give. Okay. So if you fail to give the info that is expected of you, then you fail to get the marks that you are expecting of them. Now, in the speaking test, it's usually taking a day or 2 or even a week before your other exams. Okay. For me, I did my speaking on Tuesday. Tuesday, Friday, okay, it was on a Thursday. I had my speaking test on Thursday, and then I did the writing and the rest of them on a Saturday. You are not going to do everything on the same day, so I don't expect you to panic, all right? And you are, going to be told what to do. That's one good thing with the speaking test. They'll tell you what to do. They'll tell you what to do. Like here, you are going to be given a cue card. Okay, you are going to be given a cue card, and you'll be asked questions based on that cue card that you have in your hand. So today, when we have talked about what is required of us, we are going to be doing the practices as well. Each and every one of us in this class today, we have something to do, like we usually do, participate in the classwork. And it's going to help us to access you to really know if you have been able to understand the lessons so far. In your speaking test, like I was trying to say, you have your examiner seated in front of you. In the speaking test, you are expected to answer based on whatever question you have been asked. Don't go outside what you have on your cue card, because you are not going to get extra marks for giving any of those answers that you are not asked. All right. So basically, sorry, I have a kata or flu or whatever we call it here. Basically, you generally will hear things that is familiar. There are topics of interest. They are not going to bring anything strange other than what you know or than what you can talk about. Whatever comes out, there are things that you are used to, things that happens around you, and they are basically on some special particular topics. It's between 11 to 14 minutes, and it consists of an oral interview, all right, with the candidate and an examiner. Now, every speaking test is recorded. There's a camera in that room where you are, and that's the reason why when some people are short by maybe 0.5 or band one point in their speaking exam, they can always ask for a remark. excuse me, they can always ask for a remark. All right. So they are into the speaking test is divided into three parts. It's divided into three parts. There are three parts generally, and each of the parts fulfills a specific purpose, is a specific function in terms of interaction pattern. So the task input as well is different, and your candidate output as well is different. In part one, you are going to be answering general questions about yourself, about your homes, about your family, your jobs, or if you are a student, you are going to be answering questions that are related to your interests, and a range of familiar topic areas. This part will last usually for between 4 to 5 minutes. Between 4 to 5 minutes. Let me see who is distracting us in this noise. Okay. It lasts between 4 and 5 minutes, and you have finished that first part. The second part of your speaking, that's the section 2 or the part 2 of it, is where you are giving a verbal prompt on a cue card. They call it a cue card or a prompt card. And you are asked to talk on particular topics, okay? You as a candidate, you will have 1 minute to prepare. Now you can write, you can jot things down during this period. You have 1 minute to prepare before you speak at length. So yeah, you are going to be speaking for between maybe 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to prepare, and then the examiner will ask you 1 or 2 questions to round up that section. And the whole of this session will not last more than 4 minutes. It's about 3 to 4 minutes all in all. Then the third part, or section 3 or part 3, is what we call a two-way discussion. A two-way discussion where both of you engage in something like a dialogue. Okay, the examiner will invite you to participate in discussion of maybe a more abstract topic. You discuss about something that does not really exist, but you are talking about it just so she can access your speech, your sentences, your grammar, your vocabularies, whether you know when to pause and when not to pause, your ideas generally, and yeah, your boldness, and general yourself generally in terms of being able to express your feelings or being able to contribute meaningfully to a discussion. This is based on verbal questions from part 2, thematically. So it's whatever you have discussed in part 2, something that is related to it, something that is linked to it. This period is the one that lasts almost at the same time with the first part. Okay, it's about 4 to 5 minutes, maximum of 5 minutes. So all in all, we have the first part lasting for 4 to 5 minutes, second part lasting for 3 to 4 minutes, and the third part will last for 4 to 5 minutes. So if we take the maximum of them and the minimum, it will be a minimum of 11 minutes, and it will be a maximum of 14 minutes. All in all, that's all you are going to be doing in your speaking test. I'll go over it again, and then we'll run through some examples, and we can do our classwork before we move. I said that your IELTS speaking test is where you are going to be face-to-face with your examiner. Here, unlike the writing, the reading, and the listening test, you're not going to be left on your own. You will be sitting down facing someone. Usually there's a table between both of you, and there's a camera. All speaking tests are recorded, okay, and it's divided into 3 parts. The first part is the introduction and the interview, where your examiner will introduce himself or herself to you and then they will confirm your identity first of all. After that, the examiner will interview you using some verbal questions that are selected from, familiar topic frames. Maybe asking about your family or anything is up to your examiner. Then the second part, this period lasts for 4 to 5 minutes. Then the second part is where we have what they call the individual long run. The individual long run is where you are asked to speak for about 1 to 2 minutes on a particular topic, okay, based on your written input in form of a task card. Usually they'll give you a small card that contains a topic, and under the topic there's something that is giving you a clue as to what is expected of you. This period lasts for between 3 to 4 minutes. You can have 1 minute to prepare. They'll give you 1 minute and tell you if you need it. They'll give you a sheet of paper or a small piece of jotter and a pen. Okay, they give you pen and paper. So if you have anything to jot down so you don't forget, you can jot down. But if you think you can just follow what is there, you don't need to jot down anything, because some of us, before we even read and understand the question, that 1 minute has finished. So I will advise that you learn to just look at your cue card and answer as the answer comes. It's not compulsory for you to jot down anything. It's not compulsory, but they will offer you. This period lasts for 3 to 4 minutes, including the 1 minute of your preparation. Okay. The third part is where we have a two-way discussion between you and your examiner. Here, your examiner will invite you to discuss something, to participate in a discussion about something that is more abstract, but thematically linked to your part 2. This period lasts for between 4 to 5 minutes. Now, we are going to be seeing the various, parts, where we have the part 1, the part 2, and the part 3 kind of speaking test questions, okay? So that you will know what kind of question will come in part 1, what kind of questions you are expected to see in part 2, and what kind of questions you may find in part 3. Before then, everybody in this class, I want you to get a plain piece of paper. Okay? Get a plain piece of paper. Write your name boldly. Write your name in full. And write your date of birth. Please don't put the year you were born, just your date of birth. And also write today's date. A piece of paper boldly like this. Write your date of birth. Write today's date and your name. The order is write your name, your date of birth, and today's date. Write your name, your date of birth, and today's date. Tony, can I see your own? You see, I didn't say anything. I want something I can see. You want me to show you? Today's date is 26. Today's date is 26th of September 2020. Can you see? Can you all see? Yes. So write your name. There's a problem. Your name, your date of birth, and today's date. Have you all written it? Suleiman Nasir, welcome to the class. We have a rule in this class. If you join us, please switch your video on. If you can't have your video on, then you should join us on YouTube, please. The reflection from this is too much for me. Have we all done it? Yeah? Madam Uchenna, let me see your own, please. Show it on your phone screen. I can only see your name, Uchenna, and I'm seeing April. It's fine anyway. Can I see your own, Adobe? Okay. 28th of March. Am I correct? Okay, no problem. Can I see your own? Who else? Tony. Everybody can see that you have a plain paper. There's nothing written on that paper. Did you use pencil or what? Mary. Mary, welcome to the class. We have talked on speaking and we're about to go into practice. If you write your name, your date of birth, and today's date for me. Something like this. Vera, you are welcome to the class. I've seen it now, Tony. Thank you. If you write your name on a piece of paper, please, just your name and surname, or if it's just your name you want to write, your date of birth, don't include your year of birth, just the date, the day and the month, and today's date, please. That's what we are going to be using for our identification in this class. your name, your date of birth, and today's date. I think it's clearer now. Okay. So in our part one, your part one speaking test, you are going to find questions like first of all, the introduction part. You hear your examiner introducing themselves and then asking you for your ID. They'll ask you for your ID and simultaneously ask you for your name and your date of birth sometimes. And while they compare that with what they have on your international passport, please go to your test center with your international passport. My name is Joy Agagwu. And my date of birth is 18th of July. If you are friends with me, you will know how old I am. And yeah, that is it, Uchenna. Thank you. I can see it now, 8th of April. Thank you. And today's date is the 26th of September, the year 2020. I'm going to start with Olajide Mary. You are talking to the whole class. I am unmuting you. If you check on your screen, you will have the permission to unmute yourself now. Okay, thank you, Mary. Good afternoon, Mary. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, I can hear you.
Perfect. She can hear me. You are welcome to the class.
Thank you, ma.
My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your IELTS examiner for today.
Okay.
Can you tell me your name and your date of birth, please?
Okay, my name is Olajide Mary. My date of birth is 14th June.
And today's date is what, please?
Today's date is 26th September 2020.
Can I have your ID, please?
Okay. A14678.
Okay, that's the reason why I had earlier asked that you should write your name like this. Because when they ask you for your ID, you are not going to call your ID out to them. You hand it over to them. They are looking at it while you are telling them your name and your date of birth. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay. Now, can you tell me, are you a student or do you work?
Okay. Presently, I'm working and I'm also a student.
Okay, you need to choose which one for the purpose of this exam.
Okay, and I'm a student.
You are a student. What course are you studying?
Medicine.
You're studying medicine at the moment.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So why did you choose to study medicine?
Okay, I choose to study medicine because I see it as a course which allows you to save life and prevent death, the mortality rates of human lives.
All right. Can you please tell me about your daily routine as a medical student?
Okay. As I've earlier said before, I told you I'm a medical student, and my daily routine has always been from class to the hospital, where I engage myself in practicals, and after that I go back also to the hostel where I take a nap. From there I go to the library to read.
Is there anything about your course, about medicine, that you would like to change?
No, well, not really. I think I love the course, and I'm going to do more investigations to see if there is anything. But for now, there is nothing.
All right, thank you very much. That's the first part of your speaking test. Uchenna Mary, Uchenna, sorry. You can unmute yourself. Good afternoon. My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your IELTS examiner for today. Can I have your ID, please?
Here is
Can you
it,
tell
ma'am.
me your name and your date of birth?
My name is Uchenna, and my date of birth is 18th of April,
And what is today's date?
26th of September, 2020.
All right. Uchenna, can you tell me if you work or you are a student?
I work at the moment.
Okay. Are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who does the shopping in your household?
I do the shopping sometimes. Then when I'm busy, my husband does the shopping.
Okay. So what type of shopping do you like to do and why?
I like to buy the food stuff, then the clothing. Why is
Okay.
that the food stuff, I'll be able to know what exactly I need for the cooking. Then for the clothing, I think I know the sizes of the children more than when my husband goes to buy.
All right. Like in your country where you are presently, is shopping a very popular activity?
Not really, because people just go anywhere they see shops and get what they need. It's not taken as the way that it's done outside the country where you have to take it as a big deal. Here you can easily go to any nearby shop, get whatever you want to get.
Okay, so you know about teenagers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think? What kind of shopping or what kind of shops do you think that teenagers in your country would like to do their shopping?
They actually like to go to big shops like Nest, Cash and Carry, ShopRite, where they have to go through their corners and look for what exactly they want.
Why do you think that's their choice?
because they like what will entice them once they see it. While in the other markets, it is very difficult for them to see at a glance what they actually need. Because sometimes they go for what they entice them than what they need.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. This is the end of your speaking part 1. Okay. Adobe, there's a reflection in your room that is directly on your face.
Yeah.
Okay. Adobe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma.
My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your IELTS tutor for today. All right. We're actually running through the speaking practices, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like you to know that this session is recorded and it will be used probably for further exam purposes or for anything or for training purposes. All right. And you are at liberty to stop me at any point. Okay, if you need to ask any question from our discussion. Is that okay?
It's fine, ma.
Can you tell me your name and your date of birth, please?
My name is Adobe Esther. I was born on the 28th of March.
Okay, and today's date is what?
26th of September, 2020.
Can I have a look at your ID, please?
Yes, you can, ma.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma.
Adobe, do you love to go to the movies?
Yes, I love seeing movies.
Okay, so how often do you go to the cinemas?
Once a week, I visit the cinemas.
Okay, are there cinemas around where you live or you have to transport and all of that?
Well, there are no cinemas where I live. I have to transport myself to where they are.
Okay, so do you go to the cinemas maybe late afternoons or midnights or I don't know?
Late
What time?
afternoon.
Okay, late afternoon. So what type of movie do you like the best and why?
Actually, I prefer the Nigerian movies because these days they are producing wonderful movies that are quite inspiring. So, and you tend to, at the same time, they are very funny and equally teaches us better things too. So I prefer the Nigerian movies to any other kind of movie because it listens and treats, or I would say that it looks at our culture and the way we live. It's real.
Okay. So if I don't like movies, you've seen someone who does not like movies, how do you explain to them that they need to watch 1 or 2 movies?
Okay. When I meet people that don't really love movies, I would like to use myself as an example. Before, I really don't like watching movies or going to the cinema. But I realized that oftentimes I'm bored and trying out new things is always the best way of living. So I'll try to convince them. At the same time, tell them that one-sided is really not the way of life. I'll convince them to try it and see whether it is good for them. Then if it is not, they can look for other options. But at the same time, they should equally try and see or come watch the movie with me because it's not only all about watching or seeing the movie. You're with people around you that equally move with the language. Would I say this in movies, you see laughter, you see tears. So at the same time, it's being reflected in the audience. So it's fun on its own.
Okay, thank you very much, Adobe. This is actually the end of your speaking test part 1.
Thank you.
All right. Esther and Kocha, can you speak where you are? I see that you're in uniform.
Yes, so I'm just joining the meeting now. I'm on duty.
Okay, you're just coming into the class. I know.
Yes.
I know you are. We've been talking about speaking, and we've done a few things about speaking already before you came in. But at the moment, you have the floor. Okay, so my name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your IELTS examiner for today. Can I have your ID, please? You tell me your name and your date of birth.
Okay. My name is Okoriwo Esther. Born on 22nd March 1984.
Okay, thank you very much, Esther. In the course of this test, you will be given some papers if you'd like to have, your points jotted down or anything. If you think I'm too fast, you are free to tell me to slow down a bit. And just to let you know that this class is being recorded and it will be used later for training purposes. All right?
Okay.
Okay, Esther. Do you work or study?
I work.
Okay, so let's talk about your hometown. What kind of a place is your hometown?
Okay. My hometown is Imo State, Amy precisely, which is in Owerri North local government in Imo State.
What do people do in your hometown for entertainment?
Actually, there are several things my people do for entertainment, such as football match that young guys normally play during the weekend, dancing that is also common there, then other small groups of people, club, that's 8th grade, they normally meet and perform so many functions.
Okay. Is that all you have to say about your hometown? What people do for entertainment? All right. So what is the worst thing about living in your hometown? I'm strange. I'm strange to your area. Everything is strange to me. What do you think you should let me know about the worst things that can happen in your hometown if I live there?
Okay. There is actually nothing bad in living in my hometown. My home people are friendly. They entertain you with people. They like people. They are not actually bad. The only thing is that maybe when you want to buy something in the market because you're a strange person, you don't know the price, they may just increase the price for you. But if you price very well, they can actually still give you the normal price. And again, if you enter transportation and you don't really know the exact place you are going to, they will carry you to the same place you are going to, but they may take your time. In that aspect, they are trying to collect some money from you. So because you don't know that place, it's not as if you are going to lose, but they will just take you around the town and still bring you where you are going to, just to collect more money from you. But apart from that, every other thing with my hometown people are really okay.
It's all right. Thank you very much. This is the end of your first part in the speaking test. Thank you. Vera.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon and welcome to the class today. My name is Joy Agagwu and I'm your anchor in this class for today. I'd like you to know that this class is recorded and it will be used for quality improvement and for training purposes. And so in the course of the class, you'll find out that maybe you can see a camera or something that is recording. Can you tell me your name and your date of birth, please?
My name is Omole Vera. I was born on the 15th of March.
Can you tell me today's date as well, please?
Today is 26th day of September 2020.
All right. What country are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
What should a visitor see and do in your country?
Well, Nigeria is a country with diverse ethnic groups, and for stranger or visitor coming to Nigeria, I'm very sure that the first thing they will notice is the diversity in our language. Because of our ethnicity, we have different languages being spoken in Nigeria. Just like I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria, we have our own language with many dialects. Also going to the north, they speak Hausa. Igbos in the southern east speak Igbos, and southern west, you hear Yoruba language there. So for a visitor coming, the visitor always will like Nigeria because it's a country full of natural resources, plantation, forests. People there are kind, peaceful, welcoming, and entertaining. Apart from our cultural ethnicity, we have a lot of cultural performance that you see in each ethnic group in Nigeria, and they are quite entertaining.
Are there any traditional art or music that you would recommend, and why?
I'm actually from the eastern part of Nigeria, Igbo precisely. So I will recommend our own traditional arts, which were involved in cultural dance, very entertaining. We have a lot of festivals like masquerade, that usually come up during certain season in the year. We have New Year festival. We have other, like during Christmas time, we celebrate in a special way. We call it a masquerade festival, but we usually celebrate it during the Christmas period. And they are all entertaining and quite inspiring. It portrays our culture, who we are.
Okay. So tell me about the kind of visitors that come to your country.
In Nigeria, a lot of we have tourists coming in to visit and to enjoy the natural, aspect of Nigeria, like in the south, where we have a lot of, hotel resorts that have gone into some kind of entertainment that you can see in other, West African countries. We have the Tinapa in the south, which to Nigeria has been a major source of the tourist attraction. Also, in Nigeria, also visitors like our dishes. We have quite some delicious food being cooked in Nigeria that you cannot taste anywhere in the world. Quite, delicious and inviting.
Okay, thank you very much. This is the end of your speaking test part 1. Thank you. Okay, Toyi. Toyi, it's your turn.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Toyi. You're welcome to
Afternoon.
the speaking class today. My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your anchor for this class.
Okay.
In the course of the class, I'd like you to know that the class is being recorded and it's going to be used for training and for quality improvement purposes, okay?
Okay, ma.
Can I have your ID, please?
Here it is.
Can you tell me your name and your date of birth?
My name is Oladipoye. I was born on 21st of
Tony, I can't hear you. You're
September.
breaking. Okay. Can you hear me?
Oladipoye. I was born on 21st.
Oh, so it was your birthday a couple of days ago. Happy belated happy birthday.
Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. So yes, Tony. Where are you from? What country are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
Okay. Is it acceptable in your country to be late for appointments?
No, there are sanctions for going late for an appointment.
Have you ever been late for any appointment? Why?
Yeah, it happened when I had an appointment with one manager of a company that I was caught up in the traffic. So explained the reason why I got there late, and it was understandable.
Tony, you are breaking. Or is it just me? Can anyone else hear her? Tony, can you hear me? Okay. John, I don't know if it's a female or if a male. If you put on your audio video, please, that would really be nice. And if you are in a place where you can't show your face in this class, do kindly join us on YouTube, because I'll take you out of the class. We have a rule that when you join our visual class, we want to see your face. Thank you very much for complying. Tawa. Tawa, you are going to take the next class, the next one, and we'll get back to Tony again because of her network. I don't know what's happening with her network.
Okay, ma'am.
All right, Tawa, my name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your IELTS tutor for today. Do you work or study?
Actually, I work presently, but initially I was working and studying when I was doing my BMSc program. Few months back, I just completed it, so I just started working alone.
Okay. Have you ever been late to work?
Lateness, I go to work late once in a while because I'm a nurse by profession. Lateness is not condoned in nursing. If at all you are 5 minutes late, you will be sent. In fact, your boss will be angry with you. So most of the time, at least I get to work as early as maybe few minutes before the resumption time. So I prefer to get to work on time rather than getting there late.
So on those occasions that you went to work late, what were your reasons?
Then I just had a baby, and I got to work late because I was waiting for I had a nanny then that used to stay with my baby at home. It was the nanny that caused it. She came late to my house. So before I could get to work, time had already gone. The time had already gone, and I had to explain to my boss the reason why.
Okay, so what type of excuses do you think are all right for lateness?
There are some excuses that are really cogent when someone is late actually, but there are some that are not really nice at all. Like if there was a traffic, if someone's car broke down, and God forbid if anyone was bereaved. And another thing, if someone is sick, and in my profession, if at all the person is sick in my hospital, you have to report to work so that they can see that you're actually sick before you go to that clinic. You cannot be sick and stay at home in my place of work. They ask you to come. I think some of those things are cogent reasons for being late.
Okay, has anybody ever been late for an appointment with you?
Yeah, it happened 2 weeks ago. I had an appointment with my sister. We were supposed to go to somewhere around 6, 8 a.m. I got to our meeting point like 8:20, 8:30. I didn't see her. I had to call her to know the reason why. And she explained to me that her car broke down. In fact, I had to drive down to where she was to go and pick her up. We had to wait for the mechanic to join us there so that he can start to repair the car before we leave the point. At least she had
Okay,
a cogent reason.
thank you very much. This is the end of your speaking test part 1. Thank you. Tony, are you ready now? Tony, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes, she says she's ready. Let's see if she's truly ready. Okay. Tony, can I have your ID, please?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it is, ma'am.
Can you tell me your name and your date of birth?
My name is Joy. I was born on the 21st of September.
What's today's date, Tony?
Today is the 26th day in the month of September 2020.
Okay. Tony, where are you from? What state are you from in Nigeria?
I'm from Osun State in Nigeria.
Okay. Do you work or study, Tony?
I work as a nurse in a teaching hospital here in Nigeria.
All right. You work as a nurse. Why did you choose nursing in particular?
I chose nursing as a profession because I love helping people. I love seeing people smiling, because when I care for them and they get better, they smile in their face. I really love that.
Okay. So, what do you do like every day as a nurse?
Well, in the morning when I wake up, I say my prayers, then do some cooking before going to work. Then when I get to work, the first thing is prayer before the previous shifts we hand over to us. Then after that, I start my routine work, like moving from one patient's bed, from patient's bed to another, then greeting them and ask about how they are faring. Till we continue like that till the end of the day, like around 1, when the next shift, the afternoon nurses precisely will come to take over from us. Then after handing over, we have some time before we leave for our houses.
Sorry, if you were not a nurse, what other job would you have been doing?
I would have loved to be a businesswoman, selling things to people and making my profits.
Okay, this is the end of your speaking test part 1. Thank you very much, Tony. I'll see you again in part 2, all right?
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. Okay, so these were the people that listened to the teaching, and those that came in when we started immediately. If you're just joining us on today's class, we have been discussing IELTS speaking. My name is Joy Agagwu, still your IELTS tutor for overseas nurses. And we've discussed everything about speaking, and we've started some practices. I'm excited, I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Well, I've heard you people speak, and I'm going to be making corrections, and then we will move to the next stage as well. Speaking test is an interaction between you and the examiner. It's unlike your writing, reading, and listening, where you are left on your own with your question papers and you do your work solo. Here, it's you and the examiner together. Now, the speaking is generally divided into 3 parts. The speaking test is divided into 3 parts, where you have part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 lasts for about 4 to 5 minutes, and it's in 2 parts as well, where you have the introduction, then a few questions, and interactive session between you and the examiner. The examiner will ask, confirm your identity, get your international passport, have a look at it to confirm who you are, whether you're truly the one that registered for the exams or not. After that, she's going to ask you a few questions, maybe about family, about your activities, about your hometown, just a few questions. Now there is a how to answer these questions. Section 2, or the part 2, lasts for 3 to 4 minutes. Here is the individual long run. You are given a cue card, and then a sheet of paper or a jotter is offered you with a pen so that you can put your points down. You don't forget them. And sorry about that, please. If you are okay, if you are fast enough, you can read and you can understand on time, then you will have time, because they'll give you 1 minute for you to put whatever you are thinking down, and then you speak for about 1 to 2 minutes. You are going to be given a cue card. So my advice to you is, get used to looking at the cue card and answering your questions instead of wasting a whole minute to write. The minute that you're writing is included in the timing for your exam. So if you know that you can understand the question on time, please just look at the cue card and answer it instead of waiting and wasting your time to write, and you may not look at it. I'm talking from experience. your part 3 is going to be like a dialogue between you and the examiner. Your examiner will invite you to have a dialogue with her or him, and they will ask you questions that are linked to your part 2. We are going to be seeing an example of that. Before then, we'll make correction in our part 1, about our part 1. Mary, please, when you are asked a question and the examiner has not stopped you, keep talking. Keep saying relevant things. Don't keep quiet. You need to know specific words for what you're describing. Okay? What question did I ask you, Mary, if you remember?
You asked me about my profession and how I spend my day.
I asked if you were working. Did you tell me whether you were working or schooling?
I said I'm a student.
Okay. Did you say you were a student and working?
Yes, you now said I should go for student.
And I had to tell you to make a choice.
Yes.
Good. Please don't make that mistake in your exam. Okay?
All right.
When you are asked whether you're working or schooling, choose one. Make a choice for one. Don't tell the examiner I'm a student and I'm a worker. So is she going to ask you questions pertaining to working and questions as a student? You need to choose. Before I wrote my exam, somebody told me that they used to fail people because they are nurses. If they say they are nurses, they'll fail you. I don't know if you've heard about that story. It's a lie. Nobody fails you for saying you are a nurse. Number one. Number two, if you are a nurse and you come for your exam test and you say you are a teacher, nobody will say you are lying. That's what you have chosen. Number three, if you are a nurse and working and they ask you and you say you are a student, you are a housewife, you are not working, nobody is going to penalize you for that. It's just a speaking test. Just ensure that whatever aspect you have chosen, the questions they are asking you that is related to it, you answer it as per relating it to that your profession. For instance, I asked her and Mary said she was a medical student when I asked what course she was studying. As a medical student, what is your typical day? When they ask you your daily routine or about your typical day or what you do in your job or as a student, they are asking you the same thing but using synonyms to confuse their enemies. Please, the answer is the same. It's asking you about your day from the point you wake up until the point you go back to bed again as a typical student, as a typical housewife, as a typical teacher, as a typical worker, or as a nurse. As a nurse, my daily routine from the time I wake up at 5 o'clock, take my bath and prepare breakfast for my family, I hit the road and I get to work. As soon as I get to work, there's what we call handover, where I take over from the previous shift and then I get to work with my own work. After the rounds the patients are seen, and then we get to do documentations, give medications, and then wash patients, do what I'm supposed to do for them as a nurse. And at the end of the day, when it is 8:30 p.m., I give the handover again to the night shift if I was on a day shift, and then I hit the road and get back home. Most of the times when I get back to my house, I have the time to take my bath. Sometimes I don't when I'm very tired, especially, or the weather is very cold. When I have like a weather of -2, -3, I can't take my bath. Most of the times I just get back to bed and I sleep preparing for the next day. Less than 1 minute, I have finished talking about my day. That's my typical day as a nurse. As a housewife, I really don't get to go out of the house. I wake up by 4:30, 5:30 because my husband has to go to work, the children has to go to school. I prepare their breakfast and I had to prepare the bathing water for my husband and the children. I dress the children up for school. I drop them off in school, and sometimes I pick groceries on my way back from dropping them. Most of the times I wash every day, so I have to load the machines, and I make their supper or their dinner or their lunch or whatever you want to make. And on few occasions, I get the time to watch 1 or 2 movies before they get back. If I don't have that time on so many days, I go ahead to make dinners. And as soon as the children closes from school, I do school runs again, pick them up from school, come back home to wait for my husband. The children eat their meal and take their baths, follow them up with their assignments, and prepare them back for bed. We usually have what we call light out when it is 9:30 p.m. That's my typical day as a housewife. As a teacher, I wake up at 5:30, make breakfast for me and my family. I have children who attend other schools. I drop my children in those schools, get back to my own work, where my classes starts from 8 a.m. I have 3 classes every day I go to work, and they are all spaced, with spaces in between them. My last class will end at 2:30. From when I sign out at 3 o'clock and come back home to make dinner for my family. Sometimes I have the time to, take the children out or watch 1 or 2 movies or go for my weekly activities in my church, come back home for dinner, prepare the children for tomorrow, follow them up with their assignments, get them to bed at 8:30 p.m. and I go to bed by 9 o'clock. As a student, what do you do? What's your routine? When they ask you about your routine, they're asking you what you do from the point you wake up to the point you hit the bed again at night. So what is your typical day like? How is your day? What do you do as a nurse? What do you do as a teacher? What do you do as a student? They are all asking you the same question. Now, I'm able to say this and I'm able to, pick all the points because of practice. If you don't practice speaking, you won't pass. And then how do you practice? Because after I go to work every day, I talk with people, I go to church, I interact. No, it's not that kind of interaction. Here, they're asking you for some specific information that needs specific answers. And you need to use the right words. You need to use the right words. Vera, thank you very much for your answer. To some extent, I could feel that if I am strange to Nigeria and I want to come to Nigeria, with what you were saying, I could easily come to Nigeria and find my way. I could make, my choice as to what festival to attend. There's a new masquerade, there's a tilapia or tala, whatever, the one that happens, towards the end of the year, like you mentioned them. And I was actually expecting you to mention places like the Obudu Ranch and so many other places, exciting places. We still have the zoo in Jos, and we have like the big top hotels where they can stay with so many side attractions around that area. There's the National Theatre at Igomu in Lagos. We have so many places. We have the museums. We have our big stadiums where they can actually visit. There may not be an ongoing match, but they can visit and just see the edifice, how beautiful they are. Nigeria itself is a very beautiful country. They can go to places like Port Harcourt, like Calabar, where they have so many exotic meals for you. People can come to my country, Nigeria, because of the food alone. If you have a taste for the African meal, if you come to Nigeria, anywhere in Nigeria, you can find those African meals. Different soups and different things to eat. All right? So I like the fact, I wrote it down. I like the fact that you were using some accurate words to describe what you wanted to say. You talking about festival, you mentioning the new masquerade, you saying things that, culture. We're talking about things that are palpable, visible. This woman who is talking to you wants to come to Nigeria. They want to see where you are trying to sell Nigeria to someone who does not know Nigeria. I hope you understand. It's a test, but They are trying to see how persuasive you are. Recently, I had a patient on the unit. She's quite an elderly woman. I'm in a surgical ward, but we get bits and bits of different, patients. We get urology sometimes. We get medical patients once in a while. We get patients who are for end of life, who are dying, and as a nurse, you can see yourself nursing somebody to death. As you are nursing the person is dying. Not that you turn your back and you come and meet the person dead. They are holding your hand like this, and they are losing their grip, and they are gone. It's actually very heartbreaking, The kind of deaths that I've witnessed in this country is not like the kind of deaths that I've seen in Nigeria. In Nigeria, deaths happen and you'll be like, hey, now wow. But here, death is death though. But here, you get so emotional sometimes because the person is talking to you and the next thing is they're gone. And I'm like, oh, initially when I came, it was quite difficult, but now gradually we're getting used to it. So I have a patient on my unit who is actually very old. She's 93 years old, but she needs help. And she says her husband must be the one to help her. The man is also old and not doing well for himself. So they need what we call a package of care, where they have the government sending nurses, sending midwives, sending, social health workers to their houses to take care of them. She says she doesn't want it. I didn't know that this lady has comprehension issues. She has issues with cognition. All the people going into her, telling her, they just come in and say, you need a package of care. And she's like, no, I don't want no package of care. I can do well by myself. This is a woman that cannot stand up from bed. She can do well all by herself. How? So recently, I was opportune to go sell the package of care to her. That's what brought me to that story. I had to go and sell the package of care to her so she can agree, because if she does not agree, we can't discharge a patient to their house where they are unsafe. So I was in trouble and I was the nurse in charge. I went to her. I realized she was blind, partially blind. I realized she was partially deaf. Okay, and I realized she had cognitive issues. These were problems that were not documented. Nobody really knew or took note of these issues. So while I was trying to sell package of care to her, she asked me that if I was her, that would I have taken the package of care? And I said, yes, I will. And she said, really? I said, yes. And she told me that she can't see, that do I expect her to allow someone she can't see clearly take care of her? What if the person is coming to hurt her? How will she know? She does not understand. She said, I don't understand really well, and I know, I'm aware, I've had a good life, and I'm supposed to be dying. I don't even know what I'm doing here anyway. She now said, if I were her, that will I allow someone who does not understand me to look after me, knowing that the person may be doing the opposite of what I want for me? I said, no. She now said, if I were her, that will I not be angry if she keeps asking the same question all the time because she's partially deaf and can't hear? Won't I be angry if I'm the social workers? And I said, well, if I know you have that problem, I won't be angry. So she said, okay. When I came out and I signed, and I started telling them, well, let's start ordering for equipment that she has agreed. They were like, Joy, what did you do to her? What did you say to her? And I'm like, I just told her what she needed. I just explained myself to her. And from every look of things, despite not knowing me before, despite being Black, they discriminate here, there's racism. Despite being Black, she agreed after refusing her fellow Fufu. So what am I saying? It's your ability to tell me, okay? Make me understand the question I'm asking you. I am not a student, but you are telling me that you are studying medicine because you love to care for people. I don't know anything about medicine. So it's your ability to convince your examiner, look, examiner, I need that mark, you must give me that band 8 or band 9 or band 7. And these are my reasons. Present your case, like we say in Nigeria. Give them reasons. If you are not straight to the point, you won't get that mark. Esther, you were just rigmaroling. You were just going about, beating about the bush. Questions I didn't ask, you were answering. The one I was asking, expecting you to answer me, you refused to answer. Any of you that I asked about your hometown, ask me about my hometown. I'll tell you, I'm from Iyale in Dekina local government, about 2 kilometers away from the main town where the state university is located. If you don't know my place, if you get to where the state university is located in Dekina local government, and you say you are going to Iyale, you will know that Iyale is about 2 or 3 kilometers away. Are you getting my point? Am I making any sense to any of you? When they say your hometown, tell me about your hometown. You don't just say the name of your hometown and keep quiet. Okay? When you say the name of your hometown, tell me some very, attractive things about your hometown. You're from where? And your people's predominant occupation is farming. They love to eat fish because we have so many rivers in my place and they can fish for themselves. Now, they ask you a question about, what other question did we ask? Culture. Did I ask anybody about culture? No. There are questions on culture. I asked about late coming, and I said, is it okay to come late to an appointment? And you said no. I said, why? You didn't hear that part of the question. Is it okay to come late or to go late for an appointment? And why? Yes, give me why. No, give me why. I said, what reasons can you give, or what other reasons can be acceptable for late coming? You should mention things like death, sudden death, like emergency, family emergencies, traffic. Well, maybe traffic sometimes, yeah, but not all the time, because if you live in an area, you have an appointment, you take it seriously, you should be able to plan so you can beat the traffic. You leave your house on time, or you leave at a time when the traffic will not affect you. Miriam, you are supposed to have your video on. So what are we discussing? Speaking test part 1. In your speaking test part 1, the examiner will ask you to introduce yourself. They will confirm your identity. They will introduce themselves. And then they will ask you an interactive question as I asked you. For those of you that did not get the opportunity to be interviewed, you may get the opportunity for part 2. Yeah, but from this correction, you should know what to talk about. If they ask you any question about your hometown, don't just mention your hometown's name and forget about talking. Give me a little description of your hometown, as long as the examiner has not stopped you from talking. Because at this point, they are not giving you a cue card yet where you will just keep speaking, all right? They are asking you questions, as in, if she wants you to talk about another thing, she will ask you. You hear them say, okay, that's good. Okay, so they'll ask another question. All right? Speaking is very easy for you to pass, and it's very, very tricky to fail. When you are talking out of point, you will definitely fail. But when you are saying what you are ought to say, it doesn't take time. 15 minutes is too much. It does not last more than 14 minutes maximum. All right? So yeah, that's speaking test part 1. Who else do I have correction on? And that will be, they ask you a question, please go straight to the point, not actually, yes or no or explanation. Actually, you have not said anything. You are starting your statement with actually. That was the first thing you said. And I wrote it down. So please, you may not have a very patient examiner. Most of the examiners you see in Nigeria, they are Nigerians. My examiner is from Maiduguri. The woman that interviewed me, she's from Maiduguri, but she's speaking through her nose. So a combination of Hausa, English plus UK training. At the end of the day, it was difficult for me to hear her, but I had to bring my ears down by all means. And to the glory of God, I had an 8. Was it 8? I can't remember. Either 8 or 7.5 in speaking. So yeah, that's part 1 speaking. Now in part 2 speaking, what did we say about it? We said this where you are giving your cue card. Am I correct? In part 2, you have your cue card. All right. So we are all going to be doing part 2 now. Part 2, I will start with, I'll make my choice of who to start with. Let me do Tinini Tanana Biko Biko Maria. I'll see who I'll start with. All right. Made my choice. Ooh, some people have left the class. What happened? Amaka. I've not even said anything and you're already smiling and I just called your name. Are you allergic to your name?
No, not at all.
Oh God, you see, now that you are trying to make up an excuse, the network is trying to help you make an excuse and you are cracking. At the end of the day, you are not going to be the candidate for this question. You see your life? Try to choose every opportunity. Choose every opportunity and make good use of it. You don't know what to do. Okay? Beauty. You were not in this class from the beginning, and so I'm going to take my time to explain something.
Thank you, ma.
In speaking tests, you are expected to spend at least 11 minutes and at most 14 minutes. It's divided into 3 parts. The first part is the introduction and the interaction between you and your examiner. Here, the examiner will ask for your international passport, tell you her name and what her function is in that exam, and will also tell you that the test is being recorded. The purpose for recording this test is for quality and training purposes, and so that in case people have issues, they can refer back to that recording and remark their exams for them. Now, in part 2 is where you have your individual long run. That one is when we say you are on your own. On your own in the sense that they are going to give you a cue card, all right? When they give you this cue card, they expect you to answer the questions based on this cue card. You have a look at the cue card. They will give you 1 minute. They'll tell you have 1 minute for you to jot anything you want to jot down, and they will offer you a pen and paper. Don't be tempted and waste your time writing, because at the end of your writing, if you don't have time to put down what you have written, if you don't have time to write it, to say it, then you will miss what you have come for. And at the end of the day, you will fail the exam, which is what we don't want. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Because you are going to part 2. So I've taken my time to explain part 2. Now I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you will have, oh, my timer. My timer have disappeared though. I was timing all of you. Okay, let's start. Now, Beauty, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say to me, and you can also make notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here is your paper and a pencil for you to make your notes. And here is your topic. I'd like you to describe the kind of clothes that you like to wear. Describe for me the kind of clothes that you like to wear. Now, in describing the kind of clothes that you like to wear, you should tell me what the clothes look like. When do you prefer wearing those clothes? Where do you like to buy them, or where do you usually buy those clothes? All right. And explain to me why you love wearing those clothes. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Your time starts now.
Okay. The kind of clothes I love to wear, I love gowns so much. I love gowns so much. And most of the times, the gowns I love are cotton materials. I love cotton materials and chiffon clothes. And those gowns, I don't like long sleeve actually. I love short sleeve because anytime I wear long sleeve, it make me look like a religious person. So I love gowns that are short sleeve. So, and I love wearing them I love wearing them to church, and I also love wearing them out. That's why I choose short sleeve. It fits most of my outings, both church and social outings. So for where I buy those clothes, I love buying my clothes in market. I don't like online buying. I don't love online because most of the time, the things I ordered online, when I get to receiving them, it's not really what I want. I've ordered some things like that and they didn't go well. So I love going to the market to pick these gowns. I love going to the market. Most of the times it's difficult because the crowd in the market, sometimes they have to push your way through and making choices and all that. It's not that easy, but I still prefer going to the market to pick these clothes. And one of the reasons I love going to the market to pick the clothes is that I get to fit the clothes there. They allow me wear the clothes to make sure they are well fitted. I love fitted clothes. So these gowns, I wear them to be sure that they are good on me. I wear them so that they are good on me. And it's easy for me to change anyone because I am meticulous when I'm buying my clothes. I will look at the finishing touch, the inside, how it's waved. So I make sure that it does not have any comma, it does not have any issues, it's not torn, and there is no place I need to start amending. I don't like after buying my clothes, I start amending it. It's frustrating for me. So I take my time to pick the gowns, fit them there, and check out the finishing touch to be sure that these gowns are good for me. So for the color I love most am I done?
Thank you. Your time is up.
Ooh.
Okay. That was a good one, though. All right. So I asked you how many questions? About 4 questions under what you love to wear, the clothes you love to wear. I asked you to tell me what they look like. When do you prefer to wear them? Where do you like to buy them? And why you love to wear these clothes. You were busy telling me about buying from market, checking for comma. I don't know whether it is writing tax 1 or tax 2 that you're writing and you're looking for comma and full stop. I don't know which one. And now your time is finished. Without you telling me all the things I wanted to hear. Now, you didn't make mention of when you prefer to wear these clothes. You are in Nigeria, it's a very hot weather. You don't like long sleeve. Why don't you like long sleeve? You didn't mention. It's very, very logical, okay? It's logical. Forget that I'm doing all of this. True, I'll be a bad examiner if I'm IELTS examiner. But it's a good thing that you are trained in a hard way so that you find the exam really easy, isn't it? The exam will be easy for you if you are trained, when they match you, massage you, press you down, tear you, wrap you again, pound you. At the end of the day, you come out what? Refined. And you are very, very, very good to go in your exams. And you pass. So yes, It's a good attempt. Have you written IELTS before? Good. So when you write once and pass, that's the beauty of it. Writing IELTS once is the beauty of it. They say, you wrote once and you passed. You don't know what God did for you, or you don't know what happened to you until you hear somebody is writing IELTS for the 9th, 10th time. I wrote IELTS with a doctor who was writing for the 9th time, number 9, as in 9, when it was 95K. I wrote IELTS when it was 95, UKVI for that matter, not normal academic IELTS that we're writing now. UKVI was known to be the real deal as at that time. And he was writing it for the 9th time. That exam alone was 950K. Okay, if that was the amount that he's been registering. He comes from Sokoto. He's a Yoruba guy from Ondo State. To tell you, I really had time to talk with him because I was surprised. Somebody writing, now waiting now. Or guy, if you no agree to leave him. This is a doctor. Will you say he's not brilliant? He went through medical school. But because IELTS is not just about your specialty. This is English language where there are things, there are bits and bits of things that they are looking for. They are particular, especially about the band descriptors. You know, you hear me talk and I keep mentioning the band descriptors. In your speaking test, you are expected to make use of these band descriptors. I heard you talking about clothes. I don't know other things that you can say in place of clothes. My wears, my dresses. Can't you say things like that? Okay? So yeah, you need your synonyms as well. You need synonyms to use, those words that will not change the meaning of what you're telling me, but are not the same with what I have asked you. Where do you love to buy them? I like the way you answered. You love to go to the open market, and you gave me the reason why you love to go to the open market, because you want to see what you're buying. You want to check it out to see if everything is okay. That's perfect. But please take note of all the other questions, okay? Note the other small questions under your cue card. Your cue card. Your main topic is about your dressing, but there were other small questions under it, and you need to attend to it. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is anyone confused with this correction? Is anybody confused? Someone else is going to do the same question. Someone else to do a different question so that we can have, different choices as to how to answer these questions. So who is my next catch? Let me see. Who is my next catch? Miriam. Now you can unmute yourself. Hello, Miriam. My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm the IELTS tutor for overseas nurses. You are welcome to our class today. I'd like you to know that this class is being recorded for quality and for record keeping purposes. Okay, you're going to be doing your part 2 IELTS speaking test. You have 3 to 4 minutes maximum for you to answer these questions. Okay, so I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes.
Yes.
But before you go ahead, I'd like you to have 1 minute to yourself to think about what you are going to say, and you can make notes if you wish. Do you understand? So here is a paper and a pen. I believe you have a paper and a pen with you there for you to make notes. And here is your topic. I'd like you to describe something. I'd like you to describe something you own that is very important to you. Something you own that is very important to you. In describing this thing, you should say to me what you use that thing for. How long have you had it? Where did you get it from? And then explain to me why it is so important to you. Please don't forget to mention the name of that thing. Your time starts. Need to reset this one. The time starts now.
Okay, I'll be talking about which is my phone. I've been using it without any problems or the mobile phone shop slots precisely. And it's a very good brand of phone where, because it has a very good battery capacity, it has a very good camera quality, the audio and the video quality is also nice. So it's something I love so much. And I take a record of most of my dealings on my devices. I have my schedules also on my phone, so it's very important to me. So I also use my phone for record purposes. When I'm out for some meetings, I take records with my phone, audio records or video records. I also use my phone for communicating with my people, both family and friends. Also sending emails, documents to several other people. I also use my phone for I also use my mobile device for uh, keeping or taking notes of events, and also for tracking my movements. It also serves as a notepad for me in emergencies. And when I'm lost anyway, I don't know, I can't find my way, my phone becomes invaluable because I use the mobile app, the Google app, to find my way out. So that's what I use the phone for.
Thank you very much. Did you make mention of when you got that phone? How long have you had it? Did you say how long you've had it?
Yes, I said I got my phone from the shopping mall in Ikeja, the slot shopping mall in Ikeja, and I've had the phone for the past 1 year.
The past 1 year. Okay, that's fine. All right, that's a good one. You need to work on your grammar because you were using the word also about 13 times in 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay? And then at some point, you became conscious of the fact that you were repeating phone. So you started saying mobile device. It's good. At least it's good that you corrected yourself in between, number one. Number two, is a good thing that you got another word. Okay, you got a synonym for that particular thing. It's a good thing that you mentioned that what you think is important to you is your phone. You told me what you use it for. Now, you were explaining the importance of this phone to me long before you started telling me the other parts of the question. I gave you the question in a sequential order. So if I'm going to score your coherence for this, I would say your answer is not sequential. Do you understand?
Yes,
you should give me the answers sequentially. One of the things that I owned, and it seems to be the very most important thing or item for me, is my phone. I use my mobile device to browse. I use it to, browse the internet, study on phone like I'm doing with you right now. If you tell me that, I don't mind. Study like attend online classes. It's more like my diary, because I also keep record of my daily activities on it. It helps me to trace my way back home when I go to places that I get lost, or when I'm tracing new places as well. All right, that's what you use it for. So coming to how long you've had it, I've been with this phone for about a year. I got this phone from a slot shop in Ikeja, and I've been using the mobile device for more than 1 year. So you see that you have answered where you got it from and how long you had it, next to what you use it for. So my device, my mobile phone, my handset is very, very important to me. This is because I see myself like I can't live without the phone. For instance, all of my schedule is written on the phone. It's a calculator for me, and the video quality is very, very powerful. I also use it to record some things, like, when I do practices on my own, I make good use of the recording device that is on the recording app that is on it. I also have apps on it that helps me, maybe like I learned some things online, like tailoring or whatever. You have some apps that you have downloaded. Just say something to add importance to why you have that phone and why you need to have that phone, and the reason for which you attach so much, importance to that device. It's a good one, and if you ask me to rate you, I would say it's a 3/5, which is a pass mark. You need to do it more, you need to try harder, and you need to work on your diction. The use of your also, if you can have other words for it, that would be very, very, very lovely. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see who else is my next catch. Let's see who the next catch is. Tawa. Tawa.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready to answer my question?
Yes, ma'am.
He's ready to answer my question. Wow, that's a good one. So let's see what question I have for Tawa.
Mama, excuse me, ma.
Yes, ma, I can hear you. Go ahead.
You didn't give me any correction about, you didn't make any correction about my speaking part 1.
Where is your writing, sir? I told you
Yeah.
now. I said straight to the point. I wrote it here, straight to the point. You did not go straight to the point. You were just doing rigmarole first, like Esther, initially. I want you to start, hit it. I said to you, first impression matters, right? In your writing test, writing task 1, writing task 2, I told you that when you have a good introduction, when you have a good overall statement, the examiner knows that you know what you're doing, and they fall in love with your work. And at the end of the day, they give you good mark. Whether you like it or not, it is practical. That is the truth. So if you are starting something for me and you start on a very bad note, somebody started on a very bad note. Let me see. Who did I write it for? Started off badly. Who is this? Who is this person? Oh God, unfortunately, I didn't write the name. It should be Tawa now. It's
No,
under
but
your
yeah.
name. And I wrote started off. I wrote started off badly. Who is this? It's either you or I can't remember, but I know that you were not straight to the point. Okay, I wrote directly under you that you were not straight to the point. So that's part of your correction. You need to start on a good note. You need to start in a way to capture the heart of your examiner. You start talking and you're smiling in between your talk and all of that. You don't even know whether they were having a bad day.
I was
So that
distracted.
you were distracted by what?
My daughter came in that time. So I was trying to
Okay.
send her back, and they took up the light.
You need to, these children, when they come close to you, you need to leave them. Just draw her, tell her to sit down and listen so they don't bother you. Okay? I know somebody in this class that the son also used to come around, and I see all of them. It's a good thing. See, you need to involve them in what you're doing. Let them know that mommy is busy, but don't chase them away. If you can't, especially the small ones, less than 4 years, 5 years, Because the more you do it, they'll go and be making trouble there where they are going, where you are sending them to, they may be fighting or spoiling something, and at the end you lose your concentration totally. That's a parenting tip. You will thank me for it later. All right, so Tawa.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your IELTS instructor for today. You are going to be doing your part 2 IELTS rehearsal with me, and you have a total of maybe 3 to 4 minutes for everything. So I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think about what you want to say, and then you can make notes if you wish to. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a pen and paper with you?
I don't have.
Okay. I hope your computer is, your brain is magnetic enough to get all these questions and get them in order as well. Okay, so here is your paper and your pencil to make notes, and here is your topic. I'd like you to describe an important event in your life. An important event in your life. In describing this event, I want you to say when it happened. Okay? Tell me when it happened. Tell me what happened. Tell me whether this event affected other people around you, and explain to me why you feel that it is very important. Let's see when your time starts. Give me a second. I need to set the time for you. All right, your time starts now.
Thank you. An important event in my life happens to be my wedding ceremony. I got married on the 3rd of December 2011. On this particular day, it was actually a very interesting ceremony. People were so happy. I happened to be the last born in my family, and my father died when I was very young. So most of the family members were actually looking at me. Some were crying. They were having tears of joy because nobody ever thought that my mother could be able to raise each and every one of us to that level. Most of the thought was that that would just get pregnant and they would marry us off like that. But fortunately for each and every one of us, we're all educated and we got married. This event happens to be very important to me because I count myself to be among one of the most fortunate person at because right from childhood I passed through a lot. And to God be the glory, He gave me my my better house. And till today I'm still enjoying my marriage. So I think this thing I'll forever be grateful to God, and it will continue to be important to me. Because remembering this particular day, I'm always very happy. Thank God the marriage is blessed with kids.
Whew. That's a very precise and concise one. Precisely concise. Do you know one thing that happened? In the course of you telling us the story or telling us about this event, you have actually answered all of the parts in it, and you didn't spend up to your time. The words that you used, straight to the point, even though your actually is still there, it's like you were born with actually as well. So you have a special bond for actually, I'm just joking. You were straight to the point, and that is one thing. And then somehow your story captured my heart, and I was almost in tears when you were talking about people not believing that your mom will be able to raise all of you to get married instead of getting pregnant. You know, they get married, they all got married, and to some extent, it made me feel really emotional. So if I'm your examiner in this exam, you are sure that you would already pass because you captured my heart in a way. When I did my speaking test, I was asked about friends. And I told my examiner, she asked me something that I'll never forget that happened between me and my friend, or an event that my friend was involved and I'll never forget. And I told her the story of how, as children, we had gone to the farm to go and cut firewood. And then we saw udara on the trees, and we went there to go and pluck instead of cutting firewood. In the process, we didn't know that there was a bee, whatever, they had made their house. And so as soon as we hit it, oh my goodness, bees everywhere. The woman was laughing all through. And I said I was running with my friend. We forgot our axe, we forgot our plates, and we're running home. Unfortunately for her, she was bitten by the bee. And before the end of that day, this side of her face was joined to this side of, you know, the way it will be. Let me not complete the story. And the woman was laughing and laughing and laughing. And I'm like, this woman, they laugh. It was a true life story. Okay, that my friend, she's married now in Nigeria, but she can't remember. I'm not sure she remember. Oh, now she the beast thing goes. If you remember. Anyway, you don't have to tell a true life story. You can fabricate something, but make sure you are saying it with passion. And that's where my advice is. If you have a true life story you can relate, it's better because it's easier to say something that happened than thinking of what something to say that did not happen. You may make mistake and mix it up at the end of the day. So yes, thank you very much, Tawa. I will give you a 4/5. Hey, Joy, you're too generous. I'll give you a 4/5 in this kind of a test. Okay? I like that you were able to tell me everything. So there's actually no correction except for your actually. You see, I mentioned it before. Please always go to this point straight when you are asked a question. Is that okay? Amaka? Amaka, are you ready now?
Yes, Mama, I am.
Okay. So I will start the part 3 with you. You are going to be the one to start my part 3.
Okay, Mom.
Okay. Now you place yourself in the place of Miriam, of who just spoke? Tawa.
Yes, Mom.
Tawa has talked about an important event that happened. So assume you are the one that just told me about an important event that happened. If you assume that you are the one, then these follow-up questions are for you.
Okay, Mom.
Do you still think about this event often? Do you still think about your wedding often?
Yes, Mom. I do. I do because it was something point in my life, and that day was a very emotional day for me. People that didn't believe in what my mom could actually do came and congratulated her. She was congratulated on that day, and she was so overwhelmed with so much happiness. So I usually think of it every day of my life, and I'm always grateful to God for giving me such gracious opportunity.
Okay. All right. So do you think that other people who were involved, like your sisters, your mom, do you think that they still remember this event?
Yes, they do, because prior to that day, had a serious relationship where one time or the other I got an heartbreak. I was heartbroken, and they complained like me because I was on the big side, and I had to begin to work on myself. I had to go exercise. I had to begin to eat right. I had to begin to live a healthy life and all that. So I feel that they to get a good partner in which I'm, always happy with.
Okay. Your network is actually not too friendly because it's cracking. I'm managing to hear. I don't understand what you're saying. Now, we've been talking about an important event in your life, and I would now like to ask you some questions that are related to this. In your country where you come from, what days are important in your country?
Okay, I come from Nigeria. In my country, I come from Saturday, important because on Saturday you have a lot of people in celebrating a particular event. It could be wedding, it could be burial, it could be a birthday. Usually, most people when they have their birthdays during the weekdays, due to maybe work or maybe other engagement, trying to move that event to a weekend. That's only very important because Monday people try to you have a worship where people go to church on Sunday and people that work during the weekdays maybe they don't have enough time. They are
okay.
Family members.
Okay. All right. Why is it important to have national celebrations?
Okay, yes, ma'am. It is very important to have national celebration because it tends to bring people together from different places, different, places with different languages and all that. So, people are happy for it that the Independence Day or is that independent in Nigeria. People come to celebrate.
Okay.
People come to celebrate and
okay. So how is the way your national celebrations are celebrated now different from the way it was before in time past?
Okay, in time past, people actually stay in their home. Maybe cook, but now people forget that they also give they go to they go to elderly people. They also try to do one or two things, maybe get the children together, happy, celebrate, invite the dates, and people try to give each other gifts on Thursday. Then also children are also educated in, they're also the history of that country, how we came, how we were colonized before we got independence. The event actually took place during that period.
All right. Do you think that any new national celebration will come up in the future?
Well, possibly, yes. Depending on what, depending on whatever the circumstances that precede that celebration.
Okay. Are there any celebrations from other countries that you also celebrate in your country?
Yes, example that Water Day, we have the national Christmas, the Thanksgiving Day, we have New Year's Day, you have
Okay. Okay, so what do you think are the importance or benefits of having events that many people around the world are celebrating on the same day?
Oh, yes, I feel the importance of celebration. This unity, it brings joy. So people are overwhelmed with joy. This unity, you're able to call your loved ones abroad. Hello, how are you doing? Happy Children's Day, happy this day, happy that. People are able to.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amaka. You have come to the end of your speaking test. Do have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so you see that your audio was actually not helpful at all. It was hard for me to pick what you were saying. I was able to pick some, but not all. Okay. I was able to pick a few things, but not all. It's fine. It's good that you have an idea, but I would like you to put in more effort when you see this kind of a question. For example, when I talked about national days in your country, I was expecting you to talk about the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. I was expecting you to talk about the Independence Day. Those are our national days. You talk about the Children Day, Workers' Day. Okay, those are the national days in your country. So as soon as you tell me your country's name, like I'm from Nigeria, and in my country we have the 1st October of every year as the Independence Day. You can form a date for Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Usually, every 1st of May, there's always the Workers' Day, and it's a nationwide celebration. Also, the 27th of May, it also is which day is that? Children's Day, Abby. The 7th of May. Then 29th of May is which one? Demonstration of grace. Is demonstration of is a democracy day. Is 29th of May. All right. So the month of May, there are about 3 national celebrations in the month of May. Okay. When I asked you the question about why is it important to celebrate our national days, you can say something like, considering that Nigeria, where I come from, is a country with diverse cultures, different ethnic groups, people from different backgrounds, it's a good thing, and it's very, very important, because these days bring us together as a people, telling us that despite our diversity, we are still one as a nation. When I say, how is the way your national celebrations are celebrated now different from the way they used to be celebrated before? Now, in the past, or growing up as a child, I used to really feel the heat of the 1st of October celebration, because people will refuse to go to their farms, people will arrange dance sessions, people will arrange masquerades to come out, and then there's always, like a stadium meeting where the president of the country will always be present, or the president would nominate someone to go represent him. And at the end of the day, we look forward to the evening broadcast by the president of the nation. In this time, people are so busy, things have gone like everywhere now. People are no longer interested in even listening to the broadcast. Many people will have to work, and on such days, because it's a public holiday only for the federal government or the government workers, people who work and are not the private workers and business owners, to still go to their business places, and there's no longer time for them to go to those celebrations and all of that. Another thing that has contributed is the fact that there's insecurity everywhere. So people are now avoiding gathering in large quantity, okay? So yeah, it is different from the way it used to be before. I said, do you think any national celebrations will come into being in the future? You say, well, you really don't know, but you're thinking that if there's ever going to be a revolution from the present government, then there may be another Independence Day from this government, and there will be another celebration later on. Other than that, you don't think that other national celebrations will come up. Maybe in the future, maybe not, you're not sure. Then they said, are there any celebrations from other countries? That I like the answer you gave me, the Women's Day, all those other ones, and then how it affects people, how you feel, the importance when many people celebrate. That way you can also call your people who are in different countries, exchange calls and text messages, wishes of goodwill and all of that with people who are in foreign land and not just in Nigeria. So overall, I would say you have a 3/5. Is that okay? All right. So we have spent 2 hours plus doing what we have done. Speaking test is not as difficult as we think. It is technical. It's okay for you to be anxious during the speaking test, all right? It's okay for you to be anxious, but don't be scared. There's a difference between being anxious and being scared. When you are anxious, it's because of uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to meet. But when you are scared, being scared and then fearful will make you not to even answer your questions correctly. So you need to concentrate on your questions. Now that we have seen how it is, sessions 1, 2, and 3, or parts 1, 2, and 3, you know the likely questions to expect. The next class that we're going to have, we will talk more about speaking test again, finish it up, discuss more of the part 2 and 3 so that you can, be more confident. Have maybe people that couldn't speak in this class, have them talk so we can make our corrections. Please work on your grammar, work on your coherence, stick to the questions that you're asked. You don't need to, be rigmaroling. Go straight to your point. When they ask you a question, give the answer and go your way. Most of the questions in IELTS, logically, they look to you like they are yes or no kind of question, but it is safer for you to answer your yes or your no and to give a reason. Is that okay? When you answer yes or no, give a reason. When you're asked about yourself, for instance, can you tell me about yourself? My name is Joy Agagwu. I'm about maybe 5.11 tall, meters tall, and I weigh 72 kg at the moment. I'm a nurse and I work in the United Kingdom as a registered nurse. I'm a mother of 3 kids. I love to eat semo and vegetable. That's my best meal. What else? Talk about your favorite drink. You can tell me about what you love to do. I love to swim, but unfortunately, I don't get the time to go to the swimming pool. And I love to teach because I like talking too much. What else? What else? What else? So yeah, when they ask you about yourself, you need to give some very important details, okay? You can say something, you're fair in complexion, you're dark in complexion. Describe yourself in such a way that when somebody that hears the description and has never seen you sees you, they should be able to recognize that this is you. Tell me where you're from, your hometown. Please tell me the location of your hometown. Tell me the state. When I say tell me about your hometown, you can say you are from Mbise in Imo, whatever local government, about 4 kilometers away from the main city, and the predominant occupation of your people is farming. Tell me something about you. Tell me something about your hometown. Okay? When I ask you, do you work or school? Don't tell me you work and school. Or don't tell me, well, I'd like to work and school. No, you need to make a choice. Tell me one thing that you do. Oga, leave my back now. You need to tell me one thing that you do. Make sure you choose one. And whatever you choose, be prepared because you will have questions coming around that thing that you have chosen. Is that okay? Do we have any question? I have a question. Do you have a question? Your hand. 1, 2. I have a question. 1, 2. That's all. Okay, so Toyi, ask your question.
Okay, Ma, you've not reviewed my part 1 speaking test. And number 2 question. Yes, what can you say about marker speaking?
Marker speaking?
As in speaking materials, I mean.
I don't understand.
Speaking materials made by marker. It was one for, they used to do it for some like 3 months. I think the one that is out now is from September to December.
So you use the material to study how to speak or what?
I've not
You know what?
it.
Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Check for IELTS body. IELTS body. Go to www.IELTS body as in BUDDY. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And look for their speaking materials and listen to it. You will see videos. If you like, go to IELTS Zone. I usually tell people, I refer people to IELTS Zone for your reading and listening practices. They also have speaking. Watch the videos and listen to how they spoke. In those videos, they'll tell you this speaking is a band 9, this one is a band 8, this one is called a band 7. They will give you, the different bands. So if you want to speak to score a band 9, there's a way you attack the questions and answers. So yeah, I don't know anything about the marker you're talking about. Maybe when I finish this class and I get the time, I'll do it. After plaiting my hair, I was making my hair before the class and I had to stop. That's why I'm deeper life. Now my
What about my part 1 task?
Your part 1, Your part one, I was not even hearing you. Remember, we had to do it twice.
Yes.
Okay, you were the one that I said you started off badly. See my right, it's here. It was you. So after that your you kick-started not on a good note, okay, but after that you picked up. Anyway, generally for everyone that has spoken today, no one has scored less than 3/5. So if I give you a 3/5, it means you passed. But you know that a 3/5 is not enough to give you about 7.0 in your exam, because I've only rated you based on your part one. I've not been able to do part two and part three with you. It's only when I rate you part one, two, and three that I can say, okay, this is the overall mark that I can give you. Other than that is fine. In our next class, we will get to do more. Almost everybody will be able to do part one, two, and three. That way, I will start with you, part one, part two, part three, and finish with you. That's the way we are going to do it next week. In our next class. The next class is still going to be speaking so that I know I have finished. Do you understand? That's next Tuesday's class. We may have some adjustments in the Tuesday class because we're trying to do some videos. I really don't know what the time is yet, but when that is, whatever adjustment is going to be before Monday, by tomorrow evening, we'll let you know. We'll make the announcement on the Telegram group. Definitely there's going to be a class on Tuesday because I'm off, but we are going somewhere to do some stuff. So I need to find out the time we're going and time we'll come back, so that if it means doing my class before then or my class after then, we will know. Is that okay? Amaka, what is your question, please?
Okay, my first question I want to ask that, today, when did they begin the class? Is it 4 or 3?
3 o'clock. I wrote the time.
Wow.
I said 3 to 5, didn't I? If you saw the thing I posted today, the time was adjusted to 3 to 5. But the one, I think the one you have is 4 to 6, right? Who again saw 4 to 6? Sorry, I had to bring the time down to 3 to 5 because of some other engagements. Even though I'm not working today, I had to make my head do a few things. I had to cook. It's not just today, even last week was 3 to 5. And so it's more of 3 to 5 than 4 to 6, please. 3 to 5 is better for me, because if it's 3 to 5 on days that I'm on morning shift, by the time I have slept and woken up at 3, have the class at 5, do all the talk, latest by 5:36, I would have been prepared. I'll finish the class and I can go and prepare for work. But if I do 4 to 6, sometimes 6:30 to 7 before we finish, and then I start rushing. I need to leave the house by 7:15 to catch up with my boss and be at work before my handover time. If not, it will be difficult for me. That's why I had to bring it down.
Okay, my second question is the assignment you gave, I don't know how to submit. Where do I type to? Is it to the user?
Overseas IELTS@gmail.com. Overseas nurses IELTS@gmail.com. Okay. Now you are cracking and you can't hear me completely. If you ask the question on the Telegram group, maybe someone will be kind enough to type the answer for you. Okay. Any other question, please? In the absence of any other question, this is 5:22. We need to bring the class to an end. Any question before we go, please? Any question? Is anyone writing IELTS in October here?
Excuse me, ma, you are yet to check my writing assignments that I sent to you.
I will check. I've been unwell lately. I'll check.
Sorry. How are you doing now, ma?
There's a second wave of corona. I'm much better. It's fine. It's the second wave of corona and everybody is trying to be careful. I'll check, I'll go through it. I'm not promising the time I'll go through it, but I'll definitely go through it. Maybe before the next class. I will give you your personal feedback, please. Okay? Linda, you came late to the class. You are on duty, I can see. I hope you are okay, though. All right. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Any further question from anybody? Any question from anyone else? No further questions. In the absence of any other questions, we are bringing this class to an end. If you were supposed to have joined us from the beginning and you couldn't, maybe because of the time or work, remember you can watch this video on YouTube later on, and then you follow up with the class. You can do what we did, the classwork that we did, and then when we meet again, you'll be able to catch up and join the class, be on the same pace with the class as you should. In the absence of any other thing, I will say good night to you. Have a great night rest. Bye-bye.